What prehistoric animal was queen of disco? Dianosaurus Ross. Welcome to Comic Book Editions Volume 160. Today I'm going to show you some recent back issues I've added into my collection, as well as share some Wonder Woman incentive covers that I've also recently purchased. Thanks for stopping by. I'm ready to get started. Are you? Let's go. The anniversary issue, Defenders Volume 1, issue number 100 is what's going to kick us off today. Very, very slowly, I'm putting together a Defenders run for my collection. This title actually lasted pretty long, and as I've mentioned in previous videos, I really like the era of Defenders that has both Valkyrie and Hellcat together as members. Although lately I've kind of been intrigued with kind of the last half lineup change that had Moondragon and Angel and Beast and Gargoyle in. I've been intrigued with some of those Avengers issues too. This is their anniversary issue. Does this not remind you of X-Men 100? The only reason that I'm not going to full on say it's an homage of X-Men 100 is because in X-Men 100 they're kind of facing more each other, ready to do battle, and it's obvious, but this is pretty close to an homage, I think. Of course, when you have this many characters too, you want to showcase all of them on the cover on a special issue number 100. I like Doctor Strange in the back too, projecting the 100 up by using his mystical powers. So very excited to have this double-sized issue into my collection. This next book takes us back a pretty good while, actually. If you remember my Comic Book Editions Volume 111 video, which was over a year ago, I picked up Shogun Warriors issue 19, which was kind of an impulsive purchase for me to pick up. And the reason I did is because it guest starred the Fantastic Four. I didn't know at that time that it was a two-part story. Well, Shogun Warriors issue number 20 is the final part of the story. It's also the final issue of the series. As they said, long before there were Transformers, there were Shogun Warriors. Besides the previous issue, the only other Shogun Warriors issue I have in my collection was a freebie that I acquired, and it's issue 1, and it actually was a really decent read. I said during Comic Book Editions Volume 111 that I wasn't going to read this story until I got the second part, and now that I do have the second part, I can complete that task and read the story. Get it? Read the story, considering Fantastic Four are guest stars. Speaking of Fantastic Four, I have an FF-themed back issue of the week YouTube short on my channel. If you haven't checked it out, it's from the era where She-Hulk joined the Fantastic Four as a regular member, so make sure to give that a view. I certainly would appreciate it. When you look at this comic book, you might say, how come you don't have this already? It's a Marvel Tales number 230, and it's a reprint of a Spiderman Dazzler team-up. And you got to remember, when I was an original childhood collector, reprints were kind of, reprints and second or third printings of anything were kind of considered, not that good, kind of stinky. You didn't want them. And the only thing that's different about this is it has a new original cover, because this actually is a reprint of Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1, issue number 203. I have the original of that, so I said, why do I need to have this? And this reprint also came out a little bit in the era where I really wasn't collecting any comic books at all. But I kind of thought, I kind of do like the cover. It's a Todd McFarlane cover, and it's Disco Dazzler. I'm just a sucker for the Disco Dazzler. So I finally said, yeah, I'm gonna get this. I do want to get the Marvel Tales 232, because that's another Dazzler team up too. That issue, if I'm remembering correctly, reprints their team up from Marvel Team Up issue number 109. And I actually think the cover to 232 is a little bit better than the cover for 230. But both of the covers have on there what I like. Warning, this issue contains references to something called disco. So a little Todd McFarlane there. Jumping over to the DC side with some back issues. This is one that I had as an original childhood collector, and wore it out, literally worn it out. So there's some books that I do want to, besides acquiring more back issues and being able to inflate my collection or fill in some gaps and some holes, I do want to go back and upgrade some books as well. And that's a conscious goal I have too. And this is an upgrade for me, a significant upgrade. DC Comics presents issue number 4 is Superman and the Metal Men. I really don't remember anything specific about this issue except the cover really sticks out. And mine literally was worn to pieces, so I must have paged through it a lot as a childhood collector. This was probably the very first time I was ever introduced to the Metal Man as well. So it'll be a fun reread. I think that there's an ad in here as well for the DC Comics poster book, which I remember wanting so badly as a birthday present one year. And not only did I get it, I got it twice. I got it from my parents and I got it from my grandparents too, who didn't know that the other one had bought it. So it's okay. I still love that poster book too. And I'm pretty sure there's an ad for that inside this DC Comics Presents issue. So I always like to keep you up to date on some of the incentive and ratio covers that I buy. And Wonder Woman's the only current title that I buy. And oh, look at this. Look at this David Nakayama variant for Wonder Woman issue number 800. This was a Midtown Comics exclusive. My good friend and his family went on vacation to New York, and it just so happened to be the week that this went on sale. And he was stopping at Midtown Comics anyway, before I even knew that this was an exclusive. And I said to him, would you mind picking me up the exclusive? And he didn't mind at all. He said they had a lot of them there. This is absolutely beautiful. It is breathtaking. And I want to thank my friend Steven for picking this up for me. I certainly appreciate it a lot. I thought the colors looked nice, the pictures I saw on the internet, but once I saw it in person, I was just like, whoa. Yeah. Of course, Wonder Woman 800 was the last issue of Volume 5. It ushered out our previous creative team and then set up, because there's 2 stories in here, set up for the new Tom King run that's going to be starting in just a matter of weeks, actually. But besides this variant and Midtown exclusive cover for issue 800, they also did another variant. And only difference is in the coloring. This is technically the black and gold variant cover for it. And I can't decide between the two which one I like better. My friend Steven said he liked this one better. And I do like this one, but I like the other one too. I don't know. This is pretty awesome to have in the collection. And overall, I'm really, really happy with this. David Nakayama is also doing an exclusive, a shared store exclusive variant for Wonder Woman number 1 that's coming out in a few weeks too. And you should look that up too, because it's got a good cover too. It more depicts Diana of Themyscira as opposed to Diana in costume or Diana as a warrior. More of the Themyscirian Diana on his variant. So I have that pre-ordered already, and you'll see that in a future comic book editions video for sure. In between Wonder Woman 800 and the upcoming launch of issue number 1 has been the 2-month miniseries Night Terrors Wonder Woman. This is the, if I remember correctly, I think it's the 1 in 25, if I'm remembering correctly. Medusa as Wonder Woman. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I wasn't so much crazy about this story. My friend Tony Fett, he was asking, he's like, what did you think of the story? And I'm like, it just didn't do a whole lot for me. I knew Tony would like it a little bit more because it's much more a Justice League Dark story than it is a solo Wonder Woman story. Not that I have anything against Justice League Dark, but I don't know, it just didn't grab me. It just didn't, I don't know. They all can't be winners, can they? I know for a fact that issue number 2 has been out for several weeks right now, and I haven't even gone and picked it up yet. I'm probably not going to go pick it up until probably next Wednesday, because there's a few other things that I want to come out before I make my trek to the LCS to pick up the books that I need to that are in my pull list. So besides this, there is, and if I'm remembering correctly, this one's the 1 in 50 variant for it. I think it's Dan Mora cover. Pretty fierce drawing in there, but once again, same issue. I mean, it's the exact same book as I just showed you, just a different cover. So one thing that has been on my mind a lot lately as a collector it's just being frustrated with the level of variance. And I'm a completist for Wonder Woman, meaning that I buy every cover, I buy every variant, I buy every incentive. And some of these books, because they just had an anniversary issue, 800, and there's another anniversary issue of 1, and there's all these extra variants to celebrate those milestones. But even some of the other books that weren't milestones had 7 or 8 covers each month. That's too much, especially the incentive covers, because they cost so much more and they're so much harder to find. It's too much, and it's starting to bum me out a little bit. Also, my money that I used to buy back issues is going to that fund to buy a story. And in some cases, I'm spending all this money buying multiple copies of an issue and a story I didn't even end up enjoying all that much. So that's frustrating. And there's the completist in me that says it's going to be harder to do this later if you don't do it now. And then there's part of me that says I would rather use that money, and if I'm going to buy comic books, buy some back issues or fill in my collection or something else. So there's been a lot of frustration, a lot of back and forth about what to do on that. So the jury essentially is still out. I can see me still keeping the Wonder Woman title in all of the variants, but something like the upcoming Amazon's Attack limited series, just going with 1 cover. And DC, you're doing that to me as a collector, so you're just pushing me a little bit too far. We'll see. What was your favorite cover out of everything I showed today? I would love to know, so if you could leave me a comment below. Anything else that you want to dialogue about is welcomed, encouraged, and appreciated. Are you subscribed to my channel? I bet you are, but if you aren't, or if you know someone that would be interested in my channel and could subscribe, that would be awesome. It's a great way to show support to the channel by subscribing, by sharing the channel, by giving this video a thumbs up, all that fun stuff that I always ask you to do. But I really do appreciate what you do for me. 1K is the goal for the channel. When I hit that, I'm even though it's taken longer than it's taken other people, it's not a competition. And I do appreciate your views and your friendship more than you will ever know. So Fanboys Live and the Retro Review will be on my channel this upcoming Sunday, 8:15 p.m. Eastern, Sunday night, 7:15 p.m. Central. I mentioned the back issue of the week short. That's also out of my channel. And that wraps up this Comic Book Editions Volume 160 video for today. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you next week.